Okay, everybody, thank you for attending and welcome. So this is probably going to go 40 minutes. Hopefully you guys can all stay on. I've got some good tactics for y'all today. I am going to record this, so I will send it after. Please share it with any realtors that you know. I'd love y'all to share it, most definitely. So that being said, the first part of my presentation is a little bit of a pep talk. I did call an agent yesterday, and she was in bed watching Netflix with her 4 dogs. And I said, girl, get up, get dressed, put your makeup on, and pretend that you're going to work, and get in a corner of your house that is conducive to work. Have your materials set up. I've got my pile over here, my pens, I've got my, my bottled water. Like, I just have everything. That is my main number 1 tip that I'm just going to assume that y'all are going to get a handle on as we go through this. It's super, super important. So I'm hoping that that y'all will get some good information here. All right, I'm trying to get my screen going and it's not moving. Hang on 1 second. All right, y'all, hang on. Technical difficulties. 1 second. 1 second. PowerPoint. Okay. All right, hang on, y'all. Sorry. Here it goes again. Share. I'm in Zoom, by the way, if any of y'all have ever used Zoom. Okay. All right, here we go. So this too shall pass. I want to let y'all know that I've talked to some mentors. I've got a really good network of mentors through the training I do with the core training. They coach top realtors and lenders. So it's really good in times like this. This is going to pass. This is not the first time that we're going to see unemployment. It's not the first time we're going to see housing values probably dip a little bit. It is kind of a needed correction, in my opinion. We knew a recession was coming. We just didn't know that it was coming, so quickly and so ferociously. So things are going to pass. We don't know if it's going to be 2 weeks. We don't know if it's going to be 2 years. Like, we just don't have any idea. So I want to encourage you to control what you can control. Okay, so those are the tactics of what you're in for today, because this is going to pass. Okay, we all have a purpose. Again, I want to get the pep talk over with. Y'all, we are in a rare opportunity. I believe truly with my heart, real estate, okay, is it going to take a little bit of a tumble? Yeah, I'm sure that it will. I mean, we've done this before. It's going to rebound. People need a place to live. They need a place to stay. So the tactics that I have for y'all is meant to give you some structure to call your past clients. Y'all should be calling every past client that you can, your friends, your sphere. Let them know that you're here for them. People are going to not be able to make their housing payment. People are going to lose their jobs. People are not going to know what to do. They're going to be in complete chaos. And you imagine if you could help one family. Imagine if you could provide a link or a connection to a business person in your sphere, or do something that will help someone through this hard time. That is what I believe that our purpose is. And that it's going to solidify to people that you're really there for them in good times and in bad. So I really believe that we all have a really, really dutiful purpose in this whole scheme of things. And I just, I think that collectively, just as a world, really, we're all going through this at the same time, which has never happened in my lifetime. And I don't know if something like this has happened in anyone's, even back in human history. Has there ever been an event that everyone collectively has been going through? And I don't think there is. So I think we're going to come out stronger. But weathering the storm, we are who we are at our worst. So I want you to just kind of think of that. Pour into yourself, read, watch webinars, listen to podcasts, do whatever you can to keep your mind fresh and your motivation up, because it's super hard to get motivated. Like, I had to really force myself this morning because I knew that I was showing up for y'all. Okay, I had a commitment to y'all at 10 o'clock. And at 9:20, I'd finished the webinar, you know, to set up the PowerPoint, and I went in, I showered, I put my lipstick, I do have some lipstick on, you know, I got ready. I have jeans on and I put on this nice shirt, and I even put on, you can't see it, but I even put on jewelry for y'all. So I was like, I have to show up big. Like, I've got to do this. So do that to yourself. Do that when you're showing up for your clients. Okay. And for your people that you're helping support. So, all right, here's what we're going to cover today. Now this is getting into the tactical stuff. We are going to cover some self-management tips. Which is really time management. I call it self-management. We're going to cover some calendar tactics, and I've got some ideas for you for email, video, webinar, and resources. All of you do different things. Some do all of them, some do others. I'm just going to give some simple tips. Maybe just pick up one thing in each area that you can implement, okay, during this time, okay? And if you, just another thing, if you have a question, I've got everybody muted just for the quality of the call. Just in the chat, you can chat and ask your question, and I'll be paying attention and looking, okay, for questions, okay? All right, these are my top self-management tips, okay? I use every single one of these myself. I've used them for a very long time. It has allowed me to be super efficient. I do have squirrely moments. There's a squirrel in the room with me all day that is constantly like bringing me little things. Like I get distracted super easy. So these are some tips that really help me. Number one, I mentioned it before, y'all, wake up with an alarm, treat this as a normal work day. We're all working from home, I'm sure, or lightly going somewhere. Treat this as a normal day. I've been waking up a little bit later, but I've been waking up, you know, early. Do your routine, you know, have your coffee, write your gratitude, you know, do a gratitude journal, write a few things that you're grateful for. That's really super important at this time. Whatever you need to do to feel really good. Get moving, exercise. I didn't exercise yet this morning because I had some things to do to prepare for this. So I will go out. Well, it's actually raining today. I'll probably do like a yoga. I'll just turn on YouTube and do a yoga video or something. So just do something to keep yourself moving every single day. Okay. Dress for the day. I told y'all before, like I even have my little jewelry on. I didn't put earrings on, but I did put my little necklace on. So it just makes me feel ready and prepared and purposeful. So do that for yourself. Set up a workstation. Again, I've got like my phone to the side. I've got my little pile. I've got my pen. I've got my highlighter. You know, I've got everything that I need to be and have a successful day. Okay, I have a section in my house. Hopefully your house is conducive to having a quiet space. When it gets, I have a backup space. My people are loud, okay? I'm married to a Latino. They start talking about whatever and it just gets loud in here. My kids are loud, my husband's loud. So when they start, you know, whatever, I go and I have this spot in my room where I set up a special table and I just go in there, I shut the door and I, you know, do my thing. So I'll probably have to migrate there at some point during the day. So have a backup plan because, you know, we're sharing space, you know, with other people possibly. Okay, follow an agenda. So I'm going to show y'all an agenda in a minute. Treat your calendar again like a normal work day. We probably have a lot more white space than normal because we're not spending time traveling, getting in our car, going around. So I've got some tactics for y'all about that I hope can help you to implement something, okay? So I know this all sounds super simple, but like I said, I called an agent yesterday and she was, you know, she was in bed, just, you know, just like we all want to do, crawl in bed, get under the covers, especially on a day like today. So start with purpose, okay? All right, calendar. So I'm sharing with you calendar. This goes, you know, again, you know, if you're looking for a way to really just keep on task, I have a lot of recurring things on my calendar, so it really helps keep me straight every day. I use colors. Orange is my color for like office stuff, like work, if I have to work on scenarios, work on estimates, team with a meeting, a meeting with a team, etc. The green, I mean, this is just in the morning, y'all, but my afternoon is almost all green, which is calling, etc. So yellow for me is personal. So normally I work out at 5 a.m. I haven't been lately. But you get the gist of just having the calendar, have as many things recurring as you can, so that when you wake up one morning and say, what in the heck am I supposed to be doing today? WTF, I look at my calendar and it's such a relief that it's telling me what I'm supposed to do. Okay. So I just want to mention that. There is a question that, thank you for the question. Is this a Google Calendar? No, we use Outlook. We use Outlook. And by the way, if you have someone that supports you, I share my calendar with actually a couple people have access to my calendar. And that really helps me a lot. I have a dedicated assistant that helps me with the calendar. And it really, really helps me get through the day that we're in it together. But either way, if it's just you and your calendar, colors help. When I'm looking for, I'm going to go through later in this call, I'm going to go through how to manage phone calls and how to put things in buckets on your calendar just to help manage your time. And I'm going to really go through green time, but I just wanted to give y'all a hint here. Also, I have a webinar specifically on time management that's super detailed. If you go to Learn with Jen on YouTube, I've got a webinar. In fact, let me write this down. I'm going to send it when I send y'all this recording. I'm going to send y'all the webinar that I did on time management if y'all want to dig super deep into that. Okay. Okay. Let's see. All right. Okay. Questions about calendar. We had one about the Google. Are there any other questions about calendar before I move on? One other question. Google Calendar. No. Answer live. Okay. All righty. No questions. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So now we're going to go through some strategies. Okay. So we're going to go through calls. We're going to go through some ideas for email, webinars, videos, social media. Okay. I'm not going to go super, super detailed. I want it to be kind of an overview. Not everybody's going to implement all of these things, but I'm hoping to give y'all some simple ideas that will last from now to fruition in your business. Okay. Calling is the very most important thing. I'm going to go through that one first. So number one, have a strong voicemail. I recommend, especially during this time, change your message daily. I set a phone alarm for myself. I think it's like 7:20 in the morning that tells me every day to change my daily voicemail. That lets the listener to your voicemail know that you're alive, literally like that you're there, that you're paying attention, and that you're changing your voicemail daily. Okay. And so it may be like, hey, today I'm not available from 12 to 2. So you're letting the person know that you are or are not available during et cetera time. State the hours that you're working. You could state something as simple as, hey, I answer calls between 8 and 5. If your call is after 5, or if your call is after 7, whatever your time is, I'll return it on the next business day. So just because we're all working from home and working differently doesn't mean that we need to be available 24/7. In fact, I struggle with that. I want to spend more time with my kids during this time, and I've been working a little bit too much. So I'm cutting it off today. Today I'm cutting it off at 5 for sure. But anyway, just whatever time it is for you, and every day is a little bit different. Sometimes you might have a late night. So you're like, hey, today is Tuesday. I'm available till 8 p.m. tonight. So whatever that is for you. Okay. Using large times for callbacks. I'm going to have a different slide right after this for that, to really get a tad bit granular, because I believe having calls and time for calling back is what we probably struggle with the most in our time management. So for example, I'm going to show you a method of, on a certain day, you might have big blocks of call times from 10 to 12, and then another from 3 to 5. So calling, you do need bigger chunks of time in your calendar. And then what I'm going to teach you is how to squeeze people and put them in those time blocks. So you're not constantly interrupting yourself, answering calls on the fly and constantly stopping what you're doing, because that's the biggest time management deviator right there. Okay, theme days. I suggest that in your calendar you have theme days. So I would have, let's say from today, let's say from 12 to 2 or 12 to 1 or 1 to 2, you could put calls, past clients, F. And what I mean by that is past clients with the last name that begins with an F. So that's a great way to attack, because if you're like, oh my God, let's say that you're someone that has a lot of past clients and you're like, oh my God, how do I attack the past clients? You could divvy up in years, like call past clients 2018, call past clients 2019. So put it in buckets so that it gives you a roadmap of how to divvy it up. If you put in your calendar, call past clients, then you're going to get to the time block and you're going to be like, oh my God, where do I start? Okay. Especially right now that there's so much time to be distracted and unmotivated. Having your calendar tell you who to call is super, super, super important. Okay. VIPs, what I mean by that is I have a list of VIPs. There are 50 people in my database that are the very most important. They're usually my larger referral sources. They're the people that I connect with the most. They're the people that if I'm going to have, a dinner party at my house, they're the people that are invited. So if you don't have a list of those people, now is a fantastic time to start. I'll send y'all some info on that in the post email as well. VIP, how to work a list. I'm writing this down. Right now, where you might have some more time on your hands, it's a great time to look at your database, really scrub it, make sure that it's just super tight on who you're calling and who you're spending time on, and who you're not spending time on. Okay. So having it really granular in that top VIP category. So that's what I mean by VIP. And then anyone who's been a past client that you want to keep in touch with, they're a past client. Okay. So you should have a list of clients. So I do it by year. So I do client 2019, client 2018, and it goes all the way back I've done loans since 95. So my list from 2003 to 95, I have clumped together because over the years, people move away. If they've moved away or moved out of state, I'm probably not keeping in touch with them. So people have moved off the list that I'm just not, they're not on my radar. So it's a good time to scrub those lists. Okay. The last thing, set your phone alarm to remind you. So again, I use my phone alarm for a lot of things. In fact, I think I have like 7 or 8 alarms that go off during the day. So now that I'm working from home, my kids and my husband, they're like, what is that noise? And I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, it's mom's, they already know now it's mom's phone. In fact, my 9-year-old snuck a phone alarm in there for me. So at 7 a.m. every day, an alarm goes off of a dog barking and it says you're the best mom ever. So it was super cute. But anyway, I use phone alarms a lot and it really does help me. Okay. Someone asked to go back to the tips page. So I'm going to do that really quick if y'all don't mind. Let's just go back. Okay. Top tips. If y'all are okay with this, if not, just deal with it, I guess. But top tips: wake up with an alarm, get yourself moving, dress for the day, set up a workstation, follow an agenda. Kelsey, I am going to send this out to everybody, by the way, after this, because I know who's on I have a record of who's hopped on. So I will send this to you. I'll send everybody the PowerPoint. Okay. So I'm going to get back to, okay. So on the calling, does anyone have a question or something they struggle with that I did not cover on the calling? If you will please chat with me really quick, that would be fantastic. Calling is probably the one thing I didn't put on here that I'll mention before I go to email is there are some auto dialers out there, and I'm not talking about slide dial. I do not like slide dial because people know when they're being slide dialed, because a message shows up and your phone didn't ring. So I use Phone Burner. So when you want to have a really structured, Phone Burner really keeps me on task to where I've uploaded a list of people. I click that I'm going to call these 50 people, and it just auto dials their number. So I don't have to, I don't fat finger, I don't mess up, I don't, whatever it is. It just keeps, like, I'm calling Diana. It lets me leave a message for her, and then it auto dials the next person. So I don't have to stop, and it keeps my energy going. So it's still not replacing you talking to every person or leaving a personal voicemail. You can leave a generic voicemail if you want, but Phone Burner has really, really been useful for something like that. Phone Burner does cost, I think I pay $69 a month. I don't know if there's some other ones that might be cheaper. You could just probably Google, phone dialer. There's another one. Oh gosh, Mojo. I can't even remember. I like Phone Burner. It's good, but you can check it out. But you're probably going to pay anywhere from $50 to $70 for something like that. So you'd really have to, use it to make sense. Okay. Before I go on to emails, this is the example I promised you for callbacks. I have been using this for years, and it super, super, super helps me. I call this the secret weapon. So we're going to spend a couple of minutes on this. Okay. In your calendar, who cares what time this is? Let's just say this is 2 to 4. Okay. So leads fill me. I call prospects leads, okay? And not to sound insensitive, but I'm like, okay, leads. So it's in my calendar, and it's green, because green time means money, and that's my prospecting activity. So I have large blocks of time if I can. Sometimes I only have time for an hour, but I have several of these on my calendar throughout the day, okay? So this means that I am available for anything having to do with a lead. So my assistant, if you have an assistant that helps you, this could work for a virtual assistant, whoever is helping you with your calendar, or it can work for you if you are your own assistant, okay? This tells me when I'm making calls. And these, you can't tell here, but these are all 15-minute phone calls. For the most part, unless you're doing a full-on review of something, like when I'm doing a loan application review pre-approval, if they can't come in person, I'm doing a video call for 30 minutes or a phone call for 30 minutes because it's more elaborate, okay? But if it's an intro call, like if you'll notice here, it says SCH scheduled, intro, span for me means Spanish. I am fluent in Spanish, so it's just giving me a heads up that I need to speak Spanish to this person. And this is Josan. Hey, please do not post his number on Facebook. I kind of didn't black this out, but I know that I'm trusting that you guys are not going to blast out this person's phone number. But so Josan, I had to call. There's his phone number. And then if there were notes that my assistant needed to communicate with me, she would say C notes. Like sometimes she'll copy and paste their email in the actual, data that you can make bigger. Okay. So what happens is, let's say that from 2 to 4, I know that that's my lead time because I print my calendar for myself every day. And I literally, on a side piece of paper, I will write 2 o'clock, Henderson, 2:15, Jerson, 2:30, Jessica. And I do that because the calendar is small. Sometimes I make mistakes on my phone because I don't have my glasses on or whatever. Like it keeps my momentum going, and I do not have time to get distracted. From 2 to 4, usually I have no bathroom break. I make sure I have bottled water on my desk. I am butt in the chair, dialing like a maniac. And it's because I've promised these people these calls. So SCH means it's scheduled. It means it is not random. They're expecting me to call at 2:15. CONF, what that means is confirmed. Within 24 hours, there's a system that I personally use with my assistant where she calls and confirms everyone the morning of or the day before. And when she's confirmed it for sure, it moves. It's not SCH anymore, it's confirmed. So SCH and confirmed is pretty much set in stone, okay? If it's potential, like let's say So let's say you get a call. I'm going to teach you how to fill this. Okay. So let's say this is 2 to 4, and let's say it's, I don't know, 9 in the morning. Okay. And a prospect or someone who needs my attention calls me, and I answer the phone, hey, this is Jen. Hi, my name is Leslie. I'm buying a house. And I was referred by Tarl Anderson. I'd say, oh my God, great. Thank you so much. I'm so glad Tarl referred you. What did he tell you about us? Oh, he said that you're amazing. I'm like, oh, great, thanks. And I say, what's your timeline? I always get the timeline first. Oh my gosh, we're just starting the process. We're about 6 months out. I'm like, oh my God, that's fantastic. Well, listen, so we need about 20, I like to do an intro call to hear about you. I have, it'll take us like 15 to 20 minutes. I have some time this afternoon at 2:15 or at 3:30. Do either one of those times work for you? Oh yes, 3:30 works. Okay, great. Well, I'm putting it on my calendar, and I'm going to call you at 3:30 sharp. Is this the number I see on my phone that this is your number, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. May I have your email as well? Yes, that would be great. Okay, I get the email. So I'm going to call you at 3:30 sharp. If you have any issues at all, just text me at this number, but I'll call you at 3:30. So I have told them that I'm going to call them sharp at 3:30, like 5 times. Okay. So then I go to my calendar and I put SCH intro call, Leslie, RB, referred by Tarl. And I put her phone number. Because between 9 a.m. when I took the call and 3:30 when I scheduled the call, y'all know that there's about 100 different things that will happen that will distract me during that time. But it's on my calendar immediately. It's set in stone. I know that 2 to 4 is my call time because that's my routine. I know that it's there and it's logged in and it's perfect. Okay. And I know that it's an intro call for a new person. Now, had Leslie told me that she is smoking in a hurry, like smoking hot, I would have dropped almost everything. I would have, if I had something right then that I couldn't interrupt, I would say, oh my gosh, Leslie, that's perfect. I do need to finish something that I'm doing right now. But I definitely want to pay attention to you immediately. It's 9:30 right now. May I call you at 10:30? Do you have a 15-minute window for me to take your information and start? There are some questions that I have. Does 10:30 work for you? I mean, usually y'all, people can wait an hour, usually. So I do find time on my calendar, and I have to change things around sometimes. So ask in the beginning what their urgency is. If you can, and it's not urgent, which 9 out of 10 of our calls are not super, super urgent, put them in that 2 to 4 time block. Okay. But I also have some time in the mornings that I can do. So that being said, I really want y'all to grasp this, because managing your inflow of calls, this will work whether you answer the call, whether you let it go to text and then you text them back, thank you so much. You can also do this on text with people, and you also can definitely do it on an email. Okay. So any of those ways can work, but you do want to respond to people quickly. So pull over on the side of the road. I do not suggest that you answer the phone with new people when you're driving. Like, they can tell that you're driving. Okay. Let's face it. So pull over. I need to return this call that's looking like it's in my voicemail, or I missed a call, or return the text or whatever. Schedule them for your 3:30. Now, it happens often that I have more calls to return or to intro or to consult with than my 2 to 4 time blocks. So depending on your day and the ferociousness of your day, you have to create more time blocks. So then I start saying, okay, what can wait? What can push? You're constantly negotiating with yourself. So I want y'all to try this. This is just, like I said, secret weapon. You heard it on this webinar. So I want y'all to all have success with it. Text me anytime. So let's go through questions. Does anyone have questions? Do they think that there's something that's going to keep them from doing this? I want to make sure that it's super easy for everybody to be able to try this. And I think y'all are going to really, really like it. I've tried to address ways that all of you can manage incoming calls, etc. Any questions, just chat. And if you are joining us, if everybody could mute yourself, I can hear a couple of people just for the quality of the call. That would be great. Can someone tell me in chat that they can hear me? I just want to make sure that y'all can hear me. And then I'm going to go to the next section. Okay, great. Thanks, Eleni. Okay, awesome. All right, so sorry again for the snafu. Here we go. I do have a question with someone. Oh, how do you mute? There is on the bar, there is a mute. There's a little microphone, and it's a bar, I think, probably at the bottom of your screen that says mute, stop video, participants. I think that you can see that. So just kind of scroll your mouse around until you can see that. Hopefully that'll help. Okay. All right, y'all. Thanks. Okay, so here we go. Any questions before I move on about callbacks and how you can manage yourself on that? This has been super, super successful for me, and it super gets me through the day every single day. It'll become a habit that you love, I promise. Okay, we're going to go now and we're going to talk about email. So I went to, recently, I went to a big, huge national conference, Grant Cardone, a big sales conference, and there was a lot of digital media experts there. And he said that email marketing is like, in fact, it's more than 48%. I think this graph is a little, it's probably, I don't know how dated it is, but he said email marketing is the #1 way to reach people. He said, look, everyone that works and has a job and can afford your services has an email at work. Email has a beginning and it has an end. So today, in the day of social media is good. I'm not saying don't advertise yourself or connect on social media, but that's exactly what it is. It's a social connection more than anything. And how many times, you know, email, social media, you scroll and scroll and scroll, and it never, ever, ever, ever has an end. But email is super satisfying. People can read what you have to give them, and then it ends. It has an end and it has a call to action. Okay, so don't discount email. He said having some type of an email newsletter is the #1 way to go. So, couple ideas for y'all. #1, make sure you develop some content that is relevant to your audience. So you might have different audiences. Like I have, for example, I have realtors, which is y'all. Like I didn't invite past clients to this webinar. It's not going to help them. I mean, it might help somebody because you could apply this stuff to any business, but my audience I knew was realtors. Now I'm going to have another, I'm actually going to do a virtual happy hour for past clients where they can do Q&A. Like I know that's not email, but I'll talk to that. I'll talk to y'all about that on the webinar section, but I could send an email out to them telling them or writing a newsletter, you know, something about, hey, join me on the webinar, right? So you can use it to communicate many different things. Y'all, right now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, we are the steady and strong rock that our borrowers need to rely on, our clients need to rely on. Get yourself links to resources. Make sure that you like my Facebook page, social media at Loan with Jen is my Facebook, and like it. I will be posting articles, repost, like tag different groups that you can rely on good information from so that you can then consolidate that, put it in an email and send it out to people. I use BombBomb to organize my emails. There's other platforms, you know, MailChimp and all kinds of others. I like BombBomb. It does cost, let's see, I pay $500 a year and then like maybe like $50 a month, I think. So it depends on how many contacts you have. So I have, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 contacts total. So it just depends. If you need less than that, then it's not as expensive. So check it out. It allows me to organize lists. And then that way, and it also, and that's what I do my interest rate update newsletter on. So that's how y'all all found out about this. That's BombBomb. It allows me to import graphics, make stuff pretty, you know, have a template. And then you can also insert some links into something like that. Okay, add a video. You can add a video because video is super popular. And again, make sure that you've got some content that your clients are interested in. I suggest that you do something recurring. So all of you should be on my interest rate update every Friday. So some might read it, some might not. But the point is, I've got a lot of people on there over the years. It's every Friday, usually in the afternoon. And so when I don't do it, every once in a while, I just don't do it. Either I don't feel the mojo or I forget, which that rarely happens, or for some reason it didn't go out, like maybe once or twice a year. Okay. But every Friday it goes out. And literally when it doesn't go out, y'all, I get text messages. People are like, hey, did I miss your Friday update? I'm like, oh my God, thank God. You know, yeah, I didn't send it. Ha ha ha. LOL. I was just seeing if everybody was paying attention. So people are paying attention to you, and you will have followers, and you will have people that rely on that information. Okay. So make sure what I've done with interest rate update for every Friday in the afternoon, interest rate update. That's what I call it. So people that like it or don't like it, whatever, they know that they can have interest rate update in their box. Okay. Oh, Zach, you can remember my emails. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right. Consistency, again, that goes in the recurring. You want to develop something that people can rely on. And if you're not a good writer, like I happen to be a good writer, I like to write. If you're not, I'm not saying don't get other people's content, but this goes in with the personal touch part. People really want to hear from you. So the people that you're sending this to know you in some way. They're a past client or a future client. People are going to do business with you because they like you. I'm just going to cut to it. Like, I think all of you that are on the webinar probably don't want to rely 100% on cold sources of business. I mean, that's why I think we're all trying to get better together, is we want more referred business that, you know, automatically we have credibility because they were referred to us. So put a personal touch on something. My idea about the interest rate update, I'm like, look, am I going to have some people that want to unsubscribe? Yes, that's fine. I'm just not their style. That's okay. It does not hurt my feelings. So there will be some people that want to decline, some people that don't want to do it. Don't let it hurt your feelings. Put it out there. The people that engage with you will come to rely on you. And I think that this is the most powerful thing that you can do. And the statistics in the media marketing is showing email marketing is the way to go. In fact, just a tidbit for you, the guy said that blogging, if you do have a blog, he said, is like no one blogs anymore. So maybe if you can do a blog in your newsletter and send it out via email, that's a secret way to have a blog, right? But he said blogging, don't put energy and resources in that. He said email marketing is the way to go. That's where he would spend money and effort and time. Okay. Any questions about email? Okay, cool. Okay, video. I think a lot of y'all have probably seen that I've stepped up my game in video. I'm not gonna, you know, don't be stressed and think I'm gonna tell you how to do video YouTube overnight. It is quite a project. You can do video in super simple ways to get started. For many of you, it's just getting comfortable with video. You have to embrace it because it is the wave of the future. It is, I mean, there's literally statistics and data that talk about when people can hear and see you, there's something so powerful about that. In fact, the creators of BombBomb, so I use BombBomb as my platform for, you know, video and my newsletters and stuff. They wrote a book and they said that video, that personal, if you can video instead of a call, it's fantastic. So here's some ideas of how you can use video on a really small basis daily. Use your phone, doesn't have to be complicated. send a text, like when, if clients close and we have a closing and I don't go, like right now, I'm not going to closings. So I video the clients the day of the closing. And I'm like, you know, hey, in fact, I do a really funny face, like an excited face as my thumbnail, so that they'll be like, oh my God, I'm going to open this. And I just give them a message. You have to make it less than a minute, otherwise your iPhone won't send it. So don't talk too much. And I give them housekeeping. You know, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for your, you know, your trust. Your realtor was amazing. I'm so glad that she referred you to me. And then I tell them about junk mail. You know, you're going to get it. And then I tell them about their first payment. So whatever your message is, communicate that and tell them you're super excited. You also could do a video right after a listing appointment, like leave their house, send them a video on text about how excited you were, you know, how gracious, you know, thank you for receiving me tonight. It was so lovely to walk through your home. I love your dog, Rowdy. He's amazing and so cute. Like, talk about something personal, and remember, keep it under a minute, otherwise it won't send, and tell them how thankful you are. And you could do that after a buying appointment as well. So those are just some ideas, or just a simple thank you for something. If someone writes you a note or someone sends you a birthday gift or whatever. I did videos for my birthday gifts to people, and I had the thing that they gave me, and I was like, I'm so, you know, just thank you so much. And people love to hear from you. Okay. To the masses, there are some ways, like if you really are, you know, into it and want to do a YouTube channel, that's a whole separate conversation. You're welcome to kind of ping me on the side. I will be having a YouTube lunch and learn. It was going to be in April, but it's now been canceled because, you know, obviously, and it's going to be an in-person one. So it will be rescheduled. So just keep linking in with me and reading my interest rate update, because I'll advertise it. We'll probably do it in June or July when things calm down. So I use BombBomb to communicate video to the masses. So BombBomb does let you, you know, either at a desktop or on your phone, you can make a video and you can send it out to one of your lists. So, you know, remember I said BombBomb lets me categorize my list. That's kind of like, I've made it kind of into my mini CRM. And I'll say, okay, here's a video. Like, I'm about to send one out to past clients, or actually, no, I'm about to send one out to all of my past clients that are wanting to refi. I sent one to them earlier in the week about rates not being good to refi, and I'm about to send another one. So, whatever you want to communicate, use your lists, make your video, and communicate it to a mass number of people. Okay. So have a mix, like do email, do video, put video in the email. It's a great combination. Okay. We do have a question. Someone said, is BombBomb expensive? It depends on how many contacts you have. Like, I have about 6,000 between past clients and, you know, realtors and just people. So it probably costs me on a yearly basis, probably about $800 or $900. But I remember when I first started and I had lesser contacts, I think you could get into it for less than like $250 a year, probably. So yeah, before you're going to use that, you know, make sure you use it wisely, and you can use it for several different things. Okay. On the videoing, if you are going to video on a regular schedule, here is a tip for you on that. Okay. Set a date and time, like every Monday from 2 to 3, I video. I have a list that I keep in a Google Doc drive. So anytime I have an idea, I go to my Google Doc and I have a list called topics. And I do have a team member that holds me accountable to that. I can tell you that if Michelle did not come to my office and literally grab me out of my chair and say, come on, Wiggy, my nickname is Wiggy. So she's like, come on, Wiggy, we got to go, you know, we got to go video. And I'm like, okay. And she's got my lipstick ready. I mean, she's like everything set out. So if you can get a partner in crime to help you and hold you accountable, or get together with another fellow realtor and do it together. I have a green room at my office in Houston. Y'all are welcome to say, Jen, we're coming over to use your green room. Like, just give me a heads up, like give me an hour's notice, and I'm like, make sure no one else is using it. come to my green room. Okay. So do something that you're doing it with someone else. It is so boring to video by yourself. I can't even tell you. So if you're truly committed to doing more in video, set a regular schedule, come and do it, have someone work in the camera for you. The materials, if you're interested, just ping me on the side. Like for less than $300, you can get lighting. There's a microphone. You know, if you come to my office, you can use mine. You know, so just figure it out. But it's super, super fun. I love to video, so that's kind of my thing. And keep topics of what you're going to video about. Y'all have so many ideas in your head. You're just not writing them down. So create, whether it's a Google Doc or a notepad or the little thing in your phone, you know, the little notepad in your phone, have somewhere that when you're going throughout your day and you think of a topic of what your clients might think about, do a video. So I'll send y'all also the link to my, I have two video webpage. I have two video YouTube links, and that's where I house my videos. So I will send both of them to you. So lots of ideas there. Okay. Now the third thing about video, and again, if you have any questions, just let me know. Actually, there is a question on BombBomb. Can you separate contacts in BombBomb? Yes, you can. And that's what I love about it. So I could have one person, you know, I could have Tarl, for example. He's not only a past client, so he's PC 2018. He's also a realtor. He also gets my interest rate update. So I have different categories for people based on who they are and what they do. And so some people have 4 or 5 different categories, because then when I need to send an email out, it depends on what category they're in. I have another category called Katy. I live in Katy, so I have one so I know who lives in Katy. So if I ever need to, you know, I have one. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, toggling back to professional videos. I recommend one of the sites that I'm going to send you to is where I did a bunch of personalized process type videos that I use over and over and over again in the emails that I send to clients. So I've made in my Outlook email, I've made templates on, you know, new lead intro email, pre-approval summary email, you know, lock email. When after I've locked someone, I tell them, you know, what's next. So I have 4 to 5 emails in my process that everybody gets. And some of my videos are threaded in there. And so that's one of the sites that I'm sending you to just give you some ideas. But you could just do as simple as think of 5, if you're getting started, just think of 5 topics that come up over and over again. Who you are, you know, who is Jennifer Hernandez? Who is Legacy Mutual Mortgage? The pre-approval process. You could do one on, you know, the listing process, the buying process. That's 2 videos right there. You know, all about you. That's the 3rd video. So you can come up with topics quicker than you think. I would definitely recommend a professional videographer for that. Just let me know if you need a recommendation. I've got one. It's worth the money. It'll probably cost you about $500 in total, but it's so worth it if you're going to recycle and use those over and over and over again. Okay. As coming across as a professional. Okay. So that being said, video. So I'm going to handle one question that we've got on video. Oh, I think I already answered it. Yeah. Okay. All righty. All right, y'all, we are almost done here. Hang in there with me. So webinars, I'm using Zoom. It obviously has a glitch. I'm going to find out why it bumped y'all all out. I thank you for those of you that got back on. So just think of who your audience is. You can use it for so many different things. I did the upgraded version. There is a free version, but if you're going to do a webinar and you want to have more than 40 people, you would want to upgrade. It's like $40 a month. So but there is a lesser, a free version that you can do. So I have a meeting this afternoon, for example. I've got 2 borrowers, one at 2 and one at 4, that we're doing a Zoom webinar. It lets you just send people a link. You get on the platform, you can screen share just like I'm doing now and screen share certain things with them, you know, listings. It's a fantastic way to communicate with people that you can't travel to, or like a time right now when we're not really traveling anywhere. It's fantastic. I would recommend Zoom hands down. I think it's really just the best platform. Okay. So think of, before you're going to do a webinar, who's your audience? Is it past clients? Is it referral sources, business people? You could have any and all kinds of topics to those kinds of people. Platforms, we talked about that. I prefer Zoom to Facebook Live. Facebook Live is just, I don't know, you can't edit it. You can't, it's just there live. Plus it's limited. You can only have a limited amount of time on Facebook Live. Okay. Ideas for you that I've thought of actually in the last couple days as I'm like, okay, what can I do? So you can have a mastermind. Like I'm going to have, actually just stay tuned. I'm going to have next week, I'm going to do a mastermind happy hour with realtors on what's going on in the market, what to tell your clients, bring your questions. Let's brainstorm, you know, BYOB, have a glass of wine. Let's just sit there and we'll just mastermind with each other. Okay. Solve a problem. Like today I was solving a problem. Tactics to weather the storm. That's what got y'all interested in coming to this. And I appreciate your time. Do an open house live, like do a Zoom webinar, or you could do Facebook Live and go through an open house. Instead of doing an actual open house, create some momentum about, hey, we're going to do a virtual open house on Sunday from 2 to 3 or 2 to 2:30 or whatever. And then you can, of course, recycle that. You can send it out to people. I've done webinars before, y'all, to my prospects. So I'm going to do another one next week to the people that we have pre-approved. It's definitely going to be about the market. So the people that couldn't come on, I'm going to send the webinar to them in an email. You guessed it. Remember, email is the #1 platform for marketing to communicate with people. And I'll send it to people after the fact. So I just want people to view me as a resource, whether they could attend the webinar or not. If they could, that's great, because they got to ask questions. So I appreciate the questions y'all have asked. And then you can rinse and repeat it, recycle it, send it out to your sphere, et cetera, et cetera. So the first one, you'll feel a little bit nervous. So maybe practice with some friends and be like, okay, this is a little clunky. Can y'all just dial on so I can like learn how to use it and how to navigate and, you know, all that stuff. So any questions about webinar? Because we are pretty much going to wrap this up here in a minute. Okay, any questions? That's actually everything that I've got for y'all today. I am going to be sending this out to everybody. Legacy Mutual Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity lender. The opinions expressed here do not reflect those of Legacy Mutual Mortgage.